Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, I would like to thank Miles, the management, who has given me the extended opportunity to share some valuable time with you. This is not a presentation. I would like to give kind of an interactive section, then as a presentation. The topic today, I would like to share with you hidden truth. Halal is equal to universal value. God has given the earth, the pure water, non-toxic air, original fruits, pure grown vegetables, seeds, trees, animals, birds, natural living things in the world. The entire planet, the entire universe, it's for us, the God has created. And what happened today? If we can change, the man has changed everything what God has created in the rules. It's a toxic water, toxic air, high pollution airs everywhere, genetically modified vegetables, genetically modified fruits, and we love the seeds today. And there is no animal, and majority of the animals and birds has been died because the weather has changed, climate has changed, and we are talking about environmental changes, and we are talking about the air has polluted, and we are start complaining. What happened today? It's completely we are dishonored, and we are changing the world because of our mistakes. So what could be the corrective way of action? Very simple. What are the reasons here? The lifestyle has changed. We are working almost 18 hours, 20 hours, some countries. Today the environment has changed heavily. Heavy factories, harmful production, manufacturing, genetically modified food, and critical manufacturing environment, very complex, harmful and complex environment today. And toxic chemicals, loss of originality and pure. It's completely business driven in the world, and people are more profit driven society. What is all of behind the food? Food is the basic element for mankind to live in this world. And what happened? Many people were not aware of GMO. They call it as genetically modified organism. In other words, they call it as a GE, genetically engineered. What the science has proved today in many countries, especially with European nations, has started banning the genetically modified food. The reasons? 12 to 18% of their population become a cancer patient. What is the result? How these people have become a cancer? The scientific evidence shows that people are eating genetically modified. European Union has established a new law in European countries to put labeling system. If it's a genetically modified, they have to mention that genetically modified vegetable, genetically modified fruits. So the consumer have a right to choose whether it's a genetically modified or non-genetically modified fruits and vegetables. So they have given a chance. But what happened with the third world countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, in Asian countries? We are eating junk food. Also, we are eating non-original food become as a genetically food. And today, the increased level of cancer patient in this world. And because of that, the entire thing has been changing. Let me move on to the next slide. You can see that the picture, the grapes look like a seedless grape today. And the orange become a kiwi. Taste will be flavor as a kiwi, but it's an orange. So the entire technology is changing today. We are eating without knowing the truth, what we are consuming today as a consumer, especially with seedless grape, tomatoes, small kind of tomatoes, or big kind of bananas. These are the magic of genetically modified engineering, genetically modified food. Let's move on here. The countries in GMO, as I mentioned earlier, many countries, majority of the countries in the European nation, they refuse to purchase genetically modified product, and they refuse to take genetically modified because they want to save the next generation. They seek national and European Union to back the genetically modified food today. Seeds. As per the statistics today, it's mentioned that 70 to 75% of the natural seeds what God has given to the world has been lost. So 70% of the seeds, the original seeds, it's completely gone. In future, maybe in a 20 years to 30 years time, we need to purchase the real original seeds with intellectual property. Somebody is going to own what God has given as a property for the mankind, and but somebody is going to be own this property, saying that you have to pay me the money, then I will give you the seeds. This is what going to be see the next generation. Protection of the natural and resources. The drinking water is not clean. The sad thing, we are running behind on urging people to protect the trees. There is less number of trees. There are statistics report today mentioned that almost every mankind, every human being today, in the age of 60, you know what kind of number of trees we are using in terms of tissue paper, in terms of papers. It's almost 8,000 trees one person is using his lifetime. In order to sustainability in this world, how many trees we are planting, sapling in this world? None. So the ratio is tremendously changing, the environment completely changing today. We can start complaining that the environment change is a lot of heat in other world because the earth, the natural has been changing tremendously today. So where we are going and what is the result of halal? Let me give a perspective of Muslims in the distribution of global perspective population. This is the diagram, maybe you can see in the screen. I hope everyone can see in the screen. You can see this distribution of Muslim population in America. It's almost the total population of the world. It's nearing to 2 billion Muslims in the world. And India is going to be a third largest Muslim population, nearing 200 million, next to Bangladesh and Pakistan. And there are surveys says that India is going to be take #1 position within 10 to 15 years time. That means India is going to cross 250 million population by 2030, by 2050. And these are the population living in the world, 2 billion Muslims. They are seeking assurance of halal. What is halal means? In those olden days, people think that halal means meat. They know only meat. Because of the complexity of the environment today, it's completely changing the manufacturing field, the raw material, where it's coming from, the entire life cycle of the entire production line is changing. This is the food market in the global. If you can see that halal food market, it's almost touching this year $3.1 trillion per year, including food, cosmetics, pharmaceutical, also the travel industry. If you can see the next slide, will be more appropriately say that 30% of the $3 trillion US is going to be food and beverages, and meat will be 11%, and you can see that 6% will be the nutrition, cosmetics, care 9%, bakery products, pharmaceutical is touching 23% of $3 trillion. So what is required? Halal friendly tourism, halal friendly medical tourism, and interest free banking. We call it as an interest free banking. In the majority of countries, they call it as non-halal banking, meaning they call it as a Islamic banking. But in the right term, I can use it interest-free banking. Okay, let's move on the coloring. Many people is not aware what kind of color we are using in the food. For example, if you are using red color, if you can see in the picture on the left side, if you're using red color continuously, the doctors and scientists have confirmed that 80 to 90% of population will get cancer because of what? Red color. Where this red color is come from is one of the insect name called carmine. And how many people is aware what kind of coloring we are using in today's food industry, whether it's a red color or pink color, blue color, yellow color. These all come from very harmful of chemicals, which causing the cancer, lung problem, many more diseases because of coloring. And we are, in order to produce the heavy industry today, the food industry, they are using for heavy chemicals, harmful chemicals, which causing the root cause of the cancer and other diseases. This is one of the slides I would like to share with you. You can see that the majority of the food production today, it's come from pig. If you see the skin, blood, bone, hair, meat, these are the ingredients. But you can see the end product. For example, on the screen I'm seeing on my mouse here, toothpaste. Where it's come from? Glycerin. What is a glycerin? Come from fat. Why they prefer the animal pig? Because it's a cheap resources. And you can see that each and every daily usage of mankind in the world, whether it's a capsule, or jelly, or bakery product, flavors, soup, seasoning, cream, ice creams, emulsifier, coloring, bacon, meat, bread, everything we can say that 80% to 90% of day-to-day consume, it's come from pig today. So let me go back to the next slide, which we will be giving more interactive. Majority of people think that halal means it's only for Muslims. This is totally wrong interpretation. Halal is an Arabic word. When you translate into in English, permitted, lawful, clean, hygiene, consumed for human mankind. And when you see tayyib, whenever in Quran mentioned that halal, the next word always comes with the tayyib. What is tayyib mean? Wholesome. Where it come from? Clean, nutrition, authentic, organic, animal welfare, no child labor, eco-friendly, social responsibility, quality, safety, hygiene. This is become as a halal and tayyib. When you see the product is a halal certified, what it means? It's not only certified halal, it's taken care of the social responsibility, eco-friendly, quality, control, safety, hygiene. Halal, it's above the HACCP, which is called the standards of European and in US, also ISO standard. It's more than ISO, it's more than a HACCP, also it's more than a GMP, good manufacturing practices. So when you see the certified halal product, what it means? It's for human consumption today, and everybody without religion, whether it's a Muslim or non-Muslim, whether you come from Hindu or Christian or Jewish, halal for safety. Halal means clean. Halal means permitted. Halal means consumption for the mankind usage. Move on. Next one, they call it as a MSG, Ajinomoto. What it means for Ajinomoto? Majority of the product today, it's come from Ajinomotos. The reason, this is the taste bud. It creates a taste bud, giving a taste into the food. So that's why majority of the canned food today, processed food, it's become the main ingredient as a MSG, Ajinomoto. So what it happens? Where it come from? Ajinomoto, one of the sources come from bones. What kind of bones? In India, countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, people using human bones, animal bones, whether it's a donkey, monkey, or dog, anything, they are using like a bones as a raw material to produce MSG, Ajinomoto. So what it happens? When recently, I think majority of people know that in India, Nestle product has been banned, the Maggi. Reason? They're using high level of MSG. If you are using high level of MSG, they are creating a lot of problem for the children and elderly people. Many people have admitted today as a cancer patient because of MSG and Ajinomoto. I'll move on to the next. Typically, if you see that Indian or Southeast Asian, you can see my cursor, they're using for silver foil. Where this silver foil is come from? And majority of people think that this silver foil, it's come from vegetarian source. They just put a green dot and feel that they're eating vegetarian. But in the real fact, I'll show you the next picture. This is the origin of silver foil. It's come from slaughtered or non-slaughtered or died animals. Then it's come from instinct, then become as an industry in India and many countries in Asia Pac. The final product became a silver foil or gold foil. But many people does not know the background, where this silver foil is come from. So that's why I keep saying that it's a hidden truth. We have to know as a consumer to ask the question, where this raw material is come from. So that's why halal certification is protection. If you say, example, sugar, the normal sugar production, it's come from sugarcane. When they come from sugarcane, it's become a brown color. That's called brown sugar. That is the original. So what happened to make this as a sugar white color? We have to have a bone char. Where this bone char is come from? Majority of the time, pig bones. Because why pig bone? Because of sheep. The source. Like water. Similarly, if you happen to be in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, or Asian countries, the water becomes halal certified. Why? Because the water filtration system comes from bone char and bone charcoal. This bone char, majority of time using from pig bones. That's why majority of countries like Asian countries and Australia, they're using halal certified drinking water, bottled water. To salt. They're using raw material to clean the sugar salt as a refining process, bone char. Okay, when it comes to medical, which is I mentioned that the industry, four industry, food industry, cosmetics, pharmaceutical, also travel industry. And majority of the capsules, the soft gel, here you can see this capsule cover, it's come from gelatin. So this gelatin come from pig. Okay, what it means for halal certification product? When the certification taken by the industry, they have to follow the procedure of social responsibility. They should not employ child labor, employee fair treatment, pollution control, environment friendly environment. Even though the production line is halal, they have to follow the social responsibility. I'll give you one example. This picture is taken in one of the factories in India. They're producing halal products in this factory. The production line is halal. But what happened? These factory people, they do not bother of the social responsibility. You can see the huge contaminated water, the drainage water, ending up the river water, which is the drinkable water. So when we certify, we make sure that this industry completely following the air pollution, also the water drainage system should be taken care in a well manner as a social responsibility. And we correct this system through halal certifications. Like similarly, people are using child labor in the manufacturing lines in many third world countries today. This is the example we are seeing in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. The child labor will be working in a halal restaurant. So that's why the halal certification as a benchmark, giving a KPI to the industry to make sure that there is no child labor, there will be protection of the child labor, giving a highly clean, hygiene environment in that industry. So this is one of my initiatives we have taken to the World Halal Day. We have many world days in this world today. Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Water's Day, Power Day. So such a way, I have created one of the theme named called World Halal Day. So with the four theme, food for all, united against hunger, one human community, preserve the nature. If you can see the logo in the inside, these are creations by the creator. And creator is the protection of the world. And with the four themes, we have successfully launched this concept in Singapore with 30 plus country delegates with 300 to 400 attendance in Singapore. This is successfully launched last year in Singapore. Inshallah, we are launching 2015 in India's World Halal Day. If you can see the wider range of concepts, genetically no GMO, no gambling, no smoking, no unethical, no war. So halal has a wider message. Halal is not only for food, halal has a complete lifestyle for the mankind, not only for Muslims. So together, we build a healthy and peaceful world. Thank you very much. I think maybe we can take the question and answer section.
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation, Mr. Jinnah. Folks, we are open for answers. If you have any questions, you can either put it in the question box or you could raise your hand. There is a hand icon available on your console, and you could raise your hand. Let me go to one of the callers who raised the hand. Let's find out. We have Sayyid Baba Nizamuddin. Sayyid, could you please introduce yourself and ask the question, if you can hear us? Hello, Sayyid Baba Nizamuddin. Okay, I believe we have a technical issue. Let me go to another caller. We have Brother Asjad Ansari. Brother Ansari, could you please introduce yourself and ask the question? Brother Asjad Ansari, can you hear us? I believe we have hand has been raised, but unfortunately we cannot have an audio connection. Let me go to the question box. There's a question. Is the halal food confined to only Muslim countries, sir?
What happened today? Can you hear me, Brother Jeffrey? Brother Jeffrey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Mr. Jinnah, did you hear the question?
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay, let me take another question. There is a question that is there any certification on diploma in halal food?
Yes, there are a lot of halal certification diplomas, degrees in Malaysia, India, even in Indonesia. There are certifications available today.
All right. There is another question. The question is that one of the brothers asked Ms. Ansari that my relatives are coming from Canada and refusing to have chicken here in Jeddah. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, he's correct. He's correct. Because the reason why the Muslim country today, there is no system in halal, there is no halal certification body exists in Muslim countries. The reason, they do not understand the complexity of the environment of the processing. So we just take halal as a norm. For example, people are sending through other countries, Australia, New Zealand, they just put a halal mark in return, saying that, okay, this meat is halal. But is it really halal certified? That's the question I think the Canada brother has raised. Because Canada is a non-Muslim country where you can find 90% of food production is halal.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another one. What is the halal market size?
$3 trillion, which I mentioned in my slide, $3 trillion. It's increasing every year 20 to 23% every annual basis. 3 trillion. Out of 3 trillion, we already mentioned that, I already mentioned my slides, 38% is come from food and beverages. Out of that 3 trillion. The sad thing is, the Muslim country is not having a production line to produce halal today. The $3 trillion, it's come from non-Muslim country. The consumers are Muslims.
Okay. Okay, another one. Are there any international standards for the halal food?
Yes, there are standards developed by CIMIC, which is the organization under the umbrella OIC. We have a global standards name called CIMIC standard.
We have another question in the box. How halal protects the mankind?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it's a more than a ISO certification, more than a GMP, more than a HACCP. So the reason why halal is a benchmark of the mankind, it protects clean, hygiene, environmentally, social responsibility. So that's why halal is the only certification to ensure the entire mankind, not only for Muslims.
Okay, we have the caller who's raised a hand again, Brother Baba Nizamuddin. Could you hear us now, sir? You have raised your hand. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, is it clear? My voice is clear?
Yes, very clear. Please go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, generally, this halal industry and halal, if some entrepreneurs want to get into halal business, they will not have any business model, or they will not know how to start up, or so. Are there any way, or are there any, what do you call, the business model or business plans if someone wants to start a business?
Yeah, which country you plans to, brother? Maybe I can guide you.
I'm from India.
Okay, which part of India? South and in south or north?
In the south.
Okay. Can you please go to www.halalindia.co.in?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? And there are business development managers. They will guide you through your requirements.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Specific. Could you please give us some details about the dairy milk products and chocolates specifically have been declared not halal in Malaysia? How correct it is?
Halal in Malaysia?
Yes, in Malaysia specifically, they have declared them not halal, the dairy milk products and chocolates.
No, what is the question? The exact question is from?
I think the brother is referring whether they are actually halal or not, because they're still available in other countries as halal.
In Malaysia, it's very one of the strict countries to following halal norms and practices. They have a Jakin who's representing the government department to ensure the Muslims are eating in Malaysia are halal, and they are giving certification in halal. They are the one in pioneer who started 35 years ago, initiated by Dr. Tun Mahathir Mohamad.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Brother Jafri, you know what happened? Most majority of the Muslim countries and Muslims, they think that they're consuming halal. But in a real fact, because of the complexity of that environment today, majority of the food they are consuming is not halal. Scientifically, we can prove that.
Okay, and there's a supplementary question about Jeddah chickens. Could you please elaborate, asked by the brother, that which brand of the chicken is available in Jeddah should be consumed? I don't know if you're aware of it.
Because I'm not familiar with what kind of brand is available. If maybe the brother can directly send me the request, I can guide through the right people what kind of brand is available in Jeddah.
Okay, there's a question from Mr. Ishtiaq Khalik. Brother Ishtiaq Khalik has asked, when we talk about halal certification, are these certification backed by scientific tests?
Yep, yes, it's backed by the scientific test with the scientists in R&D laboratories. Majority of the country have the labs with the scientists who has the nutritions. People understand the chemicals. Then they'll go to the second level, which is the Sharia board, to approve the scientific facts.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Jinnah. That brings us towards the end of the webinar. I really want to thank you on behalf of the Medina Institute for Leadership and Entrepreneurship for your time and for giving us this valuable information on the halal market and the size and the complexities and the challenges it faces and the accessibility in the global market. We really want to thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Brother Jeffrey, for your valuable time. I would like to thank the entire management of mine and their senior management. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again, and thank you all of those who participated in this webinar. Hopefully, you find it useful. We are recording this. It will be uploaded on the MILE community, so please stay tuned to community.mile.org or webinar.mile.org to access the webinar archives and to learn more about our upcoming programs. On that note, I would like to end this webinar.